Good afternoon, Southern Maryland, and I'm lead forecaster John Bordash with you right now to give you my latest thoughts and expectations on the pattern change that's coming up and what that could mean for you and what that could mean for our snow chances coming forward through the month of January and even into the month of February. But we'll be talking about the models in this weather discussion video, and that's what I'm showing you right here. This is the American model, and its latest run just happened about 10 minutes ago in the afternoon. So what this is showing you is what it thinks the radar could look like. And as you can see over here on the sidebar, the greens and the yellows and the oranges represent rain. If you see pink, that means that's where we could look at some freezing rain, sleet, or a wintry mix. And the blues represent snow. And of course, higher up in the scale you go, heavier the snow. But before we get to this, I want to talk about our temperatures for tonight. This is another model we use. It's kind of like the American model, but more of a short-range model. And this is what it's showing for temperatures tonight. I know it's kind of hard to see the numbers, but what this is saying is upper teens and lower 20s for our region for tonight. Believe it or not, the winds we'll see will actually save us from temperatures dropping much lower than what they're going to. Without the wind, we could be talking about temperatures in the lower teens, maybe even upper single digits. But what that wind will do, even though it warms us up or keeps us warmer, is that it will make it feel colder. So wind chills tomorrow will be in the upper single digits and lower to middle teens. So it's going to be a very cold morning tomorrow, so you're going to want to bundle up as you head out to work and school. And as you move this on forward to tomorrow afternoon's highs, you see we're still stuck into the 20s. That's what that blue means, and that red line is the freezing line. Now, I think we get above freezing tomorrow. I think we hit around 33, 34. This model overdoes the cold a little bit sometimes, but it gives you the idea. It's going to be cold tomorrow. And as we head into tomorrow night, we're talking about temperatures back down into the teens and lower 20s. Not as cold as tonight's going to be, but we won't have the wind chills. So that's another added feature that will be good for us. So I think wind chills as we head into Wednesday morning are going to be in the teens and lower 20s along with the temperatures. But now let's talk about the storm potential, because that's what everyone wants to talk about. We know it's going to be cold. I think we'll see a warm up later this week. And one last thing I forgot to mention about this map. These blue lines all represent the potential for freezing temperatures. The red lines represent the potential for warmer temperatures. So it kind of gives you an idea of where we could be looking at freezing air. And this last blue line all the way down here, and you'll see it, it's called the 540 line. And that's where the last potential for freezing temperatures exists. So that's sometimes referred to as the rain-snow line, but it doesn't always translate that way. But as you move forward into time, as you see, we're looking at lots of cold air, all these blue lines coming south out of Canada. So this is Canadian air we're talking about. But as you move forward, you'll see a high-pressure system developing. And this is going to affect us as we head into later this week, going on over into the weekend. And what this is showing is pumping in some warmer air. We're on the western side of this high pressure. There's that 540 line, and it's bringing in those red lines closer towards us. So I think temperatures get into the upper 40s, lower 50s as we head through the later part of this week. And I think a storm, you see some rain moving up as we head through the day on Friday and into Saturday. I think this is going to be all rain for us. The exception could be out into the higher elevations you see here, maybe some sleet and freezing rain into portions of West Virginia. But again, this is going to be all rain for us. Temperatures are just too warm. Up in New England, though, they could see some snow and maybe a little bit of a wintry mix out of this. Now, the storm after this is what everyone's talking about. I've seen so much hype all over Twitter, all over Facebook, and it's really bizarre. Well, not bizarre. I kind of expected it, but it's actually kind of getting annoying. I don't think we'll see snow out of the system early next week. Again, it's still 6 days out, so that could change. But if I had to make a forecast right now, I don't think we're going to see any snow out of it. And here's why. Temperatures are too warm. And it's because the system, I was just talking about that, it's going to give us some rain, you see here, going into Friday and Saturday. That storm system follows directly after the Friday storm system. So it doesn't give us time to cool down. And as you see, it gives us a lot of rain. Those red lines are all the way up into Pennsylvania. However, this could be some decent snow out towards portions of Pennsylvania, Ohio, the Great Lakes, and then that eventually pushes out. The reason why you've been seeing hype about it is because back in like December, late December, early January, so portions of last week, this America model did show the potential for this like huge blizzard, 20 to 30-inch amounts in the mid-Atlantic, and it looked like it'd be in the best possible spot, lots of cold air, and then the model changes, and I just don't think that's likely. Some people are still holding on to that though, and I can see from a meteorological standpoint why they would say that. And I think it could still change. We could see some snow. I just think right now this is going to be too warm. I think this area of low pressure either tracks right over us, like this model shows, goes right over us, or to our west. For us to see snow, this needs to track to our south and east. So take a track right off of the North Carolinas, the Carolinas, off of North Carolina, off the Delmarva, for us to bring in some warmer air or cooler air and change us over to snow. And then there's the potential for maybe another storm after that going into later portions of late next week and early the week following that, so right around the 20th, 18th time frame. But what I want to talk to you about is there's going to be a lot of potential with this pattern setting up. We're going to be seeing cold air. As you see on the model, it brings in these blue lines going into next week, and I think we go cold. You see all these blue lines even down into portions of South Carolina, Georgia. We turn colder, cooler. I don't think we're done with the 60s and 70s. Those are, I'm pretty sure, out of the picture now. We're talking about 40s and 50s for our warm-ups. So we'll see more cold air, which means the potential for more storms. I think the recurring theme for this January and maybe even February is when we see the storms, we're going to be too warm. And when we're cold, we're going to be dry. However, like I said in my winter forecast, I think we can get one or two of these storms to time with the cold air just right for us to see a lot of snow. Again, another theme with this winter is that we're not going to see a lot of snow, or we're not going to see a lot of systems bringing us snow. We won't see like 8 or 10 different little snow events like we had the past few winters that give us maybe 1 to 3 inches here, 2 to 4 inches there. We're going to see 1 or 2, maybe 3 bigger storms that sit up and give us more snow, moderate to heavy accumulations. It's going to be all about patience this winter. We got to wait for the pattern to time up just right. I think we see one decent storm late this month, and I think we could see a nice storm, pretty big storm, in February, if we can get everything to time out right. And those are the 2 storms I'm sticking with right now, maybe a third one in February. It all depends on the storm track. But again, these warm-ups, they're really going to dictate when we see our rain, when we're going to see our snow. I think, again, when we're warm, we'll be seeing rain. That's when the storms are going to be coming through. But again, this is all going to be about waiting as we move forward into the 7 to 10 day time period and beyond that. And we'll continue to track it again. This pattern has a lot of potential. And I'd much rather see this pattern set up than, let's just say, we're always cold and hoping a storm can come up, because when we're always cold, that normally means that storms are getting suppressed to the south. So this video is a lot longer than I thought it would be, and I'll leave you with this. I don't think we'll see snow early next week. Maybe a few flakes as this thing moves out, but I think it's going to be mainly rain for us. We are going into an overall cooler setup, so I think the potential's there for snow, but it doesn't always mean that potential will come to fruition. And my last point, I think we're going to need to wait for snowstorms. We're going to probably see something later on this month, maybe in the last 2 weeks of January. Going to February, the pattern's more active. We see even colder air, so we have the potential for bigger storms. So you're going to want to stay with JB Weather for the latest information. I'll continue to keep you updated here on Facebook and over on Twitter and on YouTube with the latest updates of if we could be seeing snow, with our temperatures, and what my overall forecast is going to be. Thanks for joining me. I'm lead forecaster John Bordash. Have a nice and safe one, Southern Maryland, and keep a weather eye to the sky.